Okay. Which one is... Oh, here we go. Oh, they're all right here. Okay, great. Well, shit, there we go.
Hello and welcome back to Fabos TV. Today we're sharing with you the Champion of Light encounter from recent raid testing within the Battle of Dazara instance.
So this is the first encounter within the raid. The fight consists of a paladin, which is the main boss, and various little adds. In the very short time that we actually had while we were testing this boss, it feels that what's most important is controlling the adds throughout the fight and bursting damage onto the boss whenever possible.
So
Let's jump into the encounter.
So we found it was best to tank the boss on one side of the room and the adds on the other. Whilst tanking the boss, you'll gain stacks of Sacred Blade.
Okay, we're good.
To frequently drop this dot, you need to tank swap, which is difficult considering all the adds that are currently on the other tank.
Let's go to the shorter videos. Yeah, because these are going to take way too long. Okay, let's just look at these. Hopefully they'll be... Yeah, these are a lot shorter. Alrighty, so... Oh no, she doesn't even have most of the video guides up. Okay, well, we'll watch the ones that she does have. How about that? Okay.
Hi, I'm Hazel, and this is a guide to the Champion of Light boss fight in Battle of Dazara lore on normal and heroic difficulty.
I mean, we've already got music on this one. I mean, come on. This is some real, this is some serious shit.
It's the first encounter, and the reason why this boss has such a vague name is that it's actually a different boss based on whether you're Horde or Alliance.
Oh, that makes sense.
The fight is exactly the same, but Horde fight a Dark Iron Dwarf named Frida, and the Alliance fight Rawani, who you'll see here. It's the exact same fight, though. The super short version is always tank the adds about 30 yards from the boss. Be on the boss during Seal of Retribution, which she starts in, and be on the adds during Seal of Reckoning, which is the rest of the time. If you remember that, you're like 80% there. Zealotry is the big thing here, and it's pretty straightforward. It's basically a damage modifier that stacks up on the boss when you're doing the fight wrong. There's no way to clear it, so just don't do wrong
so that's
things.
Like if you're attacking the wrong target. So they're going to have to nerf that in LFR. Because as a lot of you guys know, the LFR zombies are unable to attack another target. So imagine if you are in one target, right? You're attacking one target, and then you have to switch to another target. You can't do that. Like you can't do that. You have to go. You go one target, you hit him, and then he's dead. That's it. Okay. And this is what happened in Siege of Orgrimmar. Is they had to nerf General Nazgrim because people were so bad in LFR, they refused to stop damaging General Nazgrim in defensive stance, and Blizzard had to nerf the entire fight because the LFR zombies literally wouldn't stop attacking. So this is what they'll have to do. If it scales up too high for LFR, they're going to have to nerf it. I'd attack in defensive stance too. But it was more like, I mean, like,
Sacred Blade is the main tank mechanic. It's a 10-second holy dot that will stack up on whoever she's hitting. That's mostly fine, but if it does get too high to live with, you've got a few options. You could maybe tank swap if it's an emergency, but that's kind of messy with all the adds, especially when you really need them to not get near the boss.
Oh, so this is just a tank swap mechanic.
Instead, whenever the boss starts a long cast, you can just book it in the opposite direction, and Sacred Blade should fall off before the boss catches back up to you. It's also funny to just pretend that you're
be able to single tank it, or
Wave of Light is a big, sparkly, pretty thing that you do not want to touch.
Oh,
the boss will
look
win
at that
out
effect.
towards the adds, or a random raid member if there aren't any adds. If it hits the adds, it'll start to heal them over time, which can be purged off. In a perfect world, the ad tank gets the adds out of the way, but they're casters and that's annoying, so you probably just want to dispel the hot. Maybe.
So that's why blood decays are really good. You just have the blood decay. I'm assuming they're not immune to Gorfiend's grasp. You just have the blood decay, move over, death grip them all over with Gorfiends, and then there's no problem. It's actually amazing how many situations blood decays are just better than other tanks in. It's ridiculous.
Use a master spell from all of those priests that you kidnapped to help you with soul. Being a pretty paladin, the boss will have a Crusader seal buff active at all times. She starts in Retribution, builds energy over 50 seconds or so, and then pops a special move and switches to Reckoning, where you do it over again with a different flavor. I personally suffer from paladin word blindness, so I like to think of Retribution as Salty Boss and Reckoning as Spicy Boss. Seal of Retribution, or Salty Seal, is the hit the boss, not the ad seal. If you kill an ad during Retribution, she'll be salty about it and get a bunch of zealotry later, so just leave the ads be and focus the boss during this seal. Keep in mind that she'll be firing out those waves of light towards the ads, so don't be on that side. While salty, her melee attacks will AoE the raid with Retribution Wave, which is not avoidable. Try to stay kinda close together
so you just group up and damage her down. That's pretty simple.
When she reaches 100 energy, she releases the seal with Judgment Righteousness. That buffs one of the adds to do a ton more damage and healing, and that's also when she swaps seals. It's time to go fight the adds at this point, and I recommend starting with the big buffed one. During Seal of Reckoning, or Spicy Seal, hitting the boss gives her Zealotry stacks directly.
She's standing in the circle. She wasn't supposed to be in that, I'm pretty sure, because she had a debuff and took a lot of damage. So basically, here's what happens, is you've got two different phases. There's the first phase where you fight the boss, and then you switch off and you kill the ad that gets empowered. Then you go back to either killing ads or killing the boss. It's pretty easy, man.
Imagine that she's very hot and don't touch. The only one that can hit her is the tank, who is exempt as long as they have Sacred Blade. She'll also be doing a bit more tank damage under Reckoning with a move also called Reckoning. Mitigation for that is good, but as long as you haven't forgotten to put a healer on the tank, it should be fine. At 100 energy, she releases the spice with Judgment Reckoning, which is an unavoidable raid-wide damage burst. Stack for heals, use a cooldown if you need to, and as long as you didn't feed her too many Zealotry stacks, you'll be fine. You've probably noticed by now that this fight has adds. You start with a set, and Call to Arms summons more later on.
That's a lot of damage.
Will look different based on whether you're Hoarder or
they wiped on normal
mode. Same skills either way.
Oh no, it's on
Disciples
heroic.
are healers with 3 spells, all of which are kickable.
Yeah, it's on heroic.
In order, you want to kick Heal to stop them from healing, Penance for similar reasons, and only kick Divine Burst if you're just swimming in interrupts.
So if you're
Crusaders
shitty, you kick that one.
win most irritating mechanic prize for Blinding Faith. It's one of those turn around before they finish the cast things, which is fine, except that we all know people who just won't. It's a 5-second disorient if you get caught, so just don't look at them.
Bro, like, y'all have no idea. Like, if you ever played back in 3.1, or 3.2, whenever they added these, like, different dungeons, this was the dumbest fucking thing. These guys, like, there was this boss. His name was Edric the Pure. He was the second boss in the Trial of the Crusader, or Trial of the Champion. And he did the turn away, and it literally said on your screen, turn your fucking character around. And people are like, what? Boom. Hit in the fucking face, blinded, tank loses aggro, healers dies, and then everybody else dies after that because dungeons were still kind of hard back then. It was so fucking annoying. And now, right? I mean, so you'd think that, you know, mechanics like this would have taught players over the course of 10 years to get better. Well, I think most of you guys have done Gahoon. No. No, see, like, people just now are getting used to the idea of having the tank swap. So in about 5 years from now, people will understand moving and turning your character away. You know, because like you look at Blinding Faith. Now, let's just use some context clues here. Blinding. What does that have to do with? Your eyes. What else is blinding? The sun. What do you not do with the sun? You don't look at the sun. So you don't look at the character, and you don't go blind. There it is. It's just that simple. Don't look at the sun. Well, I used to think that if you looked at the sun long enough, you'd be able to develop a callus on your eyes, so you could look at the sun more. But I went outside and I tried to look at the eclipse last year. It turns out I was wrong.
Ever if you don't have to, and otherwise listen to your alerts and then turn around before you get blinded. Good luck. They'll also drop Consecration, which is mostly to keep their tank awake. All adds will take 50% less damage while standing in it, so drag them out and don't step on it yourself. And there's also Crusade.
Oh, that's great. I love seeing mechanics like that because, oh, that's supposed to keep your tank alert? Because we all know we're just going to have to damage them down in the Consecration. Like, we just have to sit there and just fucking deal with it because the tank doesn't know how to move. Even though it's so simple, it's like you just put the thing down and you move them out of it. No, we're going to have to do that. That's what it's going to be.
Strike, which is a good time for the ad tank to press mitigation if they have any. I wouldn't stress about it though. So you go back and forth between ads and boss based on the seals, and that's most of it. At 30% health, the boss pops Avenging Wrath and will do 30% more damage for the rest of the fight. That's an obvious point for Lust and cooldowns if you still have them. If you've been letting Zealotry stack up, that'll really bite you in the butt here. Good thing that you didn't, because you're a smart cookie.
It's not going to bite you in the ass. It would never do that because that would be profanity. And these are guides that are made for kids. So you can't, like, if the kid hears ass, they're gonna praise Satan. So that's just the way it goes, right? Like, if they hear that word, your kid's gonna start doing cocaine. It's the way it goes.
On Heroic and higher, the fight gets one new ability, which is Divine Protection. She puts a bubble on one of the ads for 6 seconds, so don't hit that one, it won't do much. That's all.
Man, this fight is really hard. So, she puts a debuff on an ad to where you can't hit the ad. Man, I know one way to tell if somebody's a fucking dumbass.
That's the champion of light boss in Battle of Dazara lore. Thanks for watching. If this video helped you out, please consider leaving me a like, check out my channel for more raid guides and other WoW stuff, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!
That's good. Okay. First boss seems like a fucking joke. Let's be honest. It's a complete fucking joke. I can't really see it being difficult at all. Let's see here. Anyone care? Well, yeah, I mean, like, obviously. Yeah, in PTR, you just burst ads on a boss. Yeah, it seems like a joke, man. Easy fucking boss. How long is the raid? First boss is always a joke. Has there ever been a time where the first boss wasn't a joke? That's actually a good question. BWL. Oh, yeah, see, I never raided back then. I never raided, like, a lot of, like, 40-man raids or anything in vanilla. So I never got a chance to, like, experience that. Let me just go inside a raid or something like that so I can just kind of be away from getting attacked. It's too bad there's not more people that want to do the AQ stuff. I don't know. I really think it's cool. It's just too bad that more people aren't interested in that kind of content, you know? Magma. Oh, yeah, Magma and Omnitron. Yeah, both of those were real cocks, too. I forgot about that. I started making first bosses easy some time ago. Oh, no, I know they did it on purpose. And I think first bosses should be easy. I don't think they should make the first boss just like this massive fucking cock block that you just can't get over.
Hi, I'm Hazel, and this is a guide to the Jadefire Masters raid boss in Battle of Dazara lore on normal and heroic difficulty. Similar to Champion of Light, the names and models of this duo will vary depending on your faction. The Horde fight Mestra and Mansarai Flamefist, while Alliance battle Marah Grimfang and Anathos Firecaller. The fight's the same, so we're just going to call them the Monk and the Mage. They each have their own moves, and then there's also special combos that they whip out at 30, 60, and 100 energy.
Alright.
Let's start by talking about the Monk, which is Mestra or Marah. She needs to have less health than the Mage at all times, or else she gets buffed by Harmonious Spirits. Basically,
Let's see, caster will become more powerful. Well, thank God we know exactly how much more powerful they are, because they will become more powerful. Thank you, Blizzard, for allowing us to understand what's going on. More powerful.
People should be on the Monk. You can still multi-dot the Mage and keep them pretty close, but the Monk should always be lower. Now and then, the Monk will teleport away from her tank and start a Whirling Jade Storm, which pumps out pretty heavy raid damage. She'll stop that as soon as somebody engages her in melee, so whoever's closest can smack her and then the tank can pick her back up. On Heroic, this is going to be easier said than done, as there's a lot more stuff on the ground, and she is happy to go whirl away right in the middle of it.
You just heroically pulled her. What do you mean?
She'll kick her tank into the air for a multi-sided strike. You'll be in a big green pancake with 6 little mouse ear pancakes all around. One at a time, images will spawn into little pancakes and then charge you. You want to turn your character to face each one. Otherwise, it's going to wreck you. If you're a stubbornly devoted keyboard turner, you're going to have a bad time. On Heroic and higher, everyone will need to learn this because it'll happen to more than just the tanks in the final phase. After the multi-sided strike, the affected tank gets the tested debuff and will take way more physical damage for the next 40 seconds. That's your cue to tank swap and go hang out with the Mage.
I love how, like, every fight now, they have some fucking mechanic that just makes it to where you have to tank swap. Because there's never a point where you can just one tank it. There's always just got to be like that one mechanic. Like, it just kind of is annoying. I think that if you've got a big enough dick tank and he can tank both mobs and both damage at the same time, then you only do it with one tank. I think that's like part of the fun. That's what's interesting. Yeah, Talok and other, yeah, exactly like that. That's what I liked.
Heroic and higher, the Monk will also spawn Spirits of Shuin to chase down random players. Give the target some space to avoid getting cleaved, keep them healed, and then CC and kill the tiger. Next, let's take a look at the Mage, which will be Anathos Firecaller or Mansarai Flamefist. Instead of hitting their tank directly, they'll spam them with special fireballs. Those stack up the Rising Flames debuff on the tank, which will explode with Burnout once you let it drop off. If that stacks up too high, you're going to wipe the raid with the Burnout.
Wait a second, let me read this here. Burnout's damage is flames burn, final boss on all players. Oh no. Oh no. That's a wipe. That's definitely a fucking wipe. You just think about that, like, because you have one guy, I'm gonna tell you what I'd do, right? Is I would get on LFR and I would let that stack all the way up, and I'd be like, guys, who's the bomb? And they'd be like, who is it? And I'd get myself killed. I'd be like, I'm the bomb. And then everybody died. They get really mad, right? It wouldn't be funny. It wouldn't be funny because of the joke, but it would be funny because they're so mad at the bad joke that they're mad at me. Right? Like, I don't know. Like, just thinking about this makes you, like, these mechanics make me want to do LFR more than they make me want to do normal mode.
At that with a tank swap, probably around 4 or 5 stacks. Just keep an eye on when the multi-sided strike is coming and make sure that you're not already at 5 when your tank buddy goes up for that. The mage also likes to blink away, throw up a fire shield, and start casting Pyroblast. Everyone needs to swap onto him to damage through the shield and then kick the pyro before it one-shots somebody. He'll also...
You know what that reminds me of? The exact same mechanic in Tempest Keep that Kael'thas did. Like, literally the exact same thing. You know what he cast? Pyroblast.
Also be putting out Searing Embers debuffs onto people, which the healers want to watch out for. Dispel those because they explode when they expire. Start with whichever ones are about to go first. If you're friends with your team, maybe figure out in voice chat who's got who. If you're super friends with your raid, you might be able to get them to stack for a Mass Dispel, but, you know, they're busy. On Hurricane Higher, the mage also spawns magma traps on the floor. Those seem biased to specifically block off areas that the monk likes to whirl in. If you step in a trap, it'll kick you up to lethal falling distance, and if that doesn't get you, it debuffs you to take 100%.
That reminds me a lot of another mechanic that was in Heroic Ragnaros. I think it was in Normal Mode Ragnaros too. And what it did is it put a circle on the ground, and if a player ran into it, it would knock them up in the air. And then after that, they would take more damage from subsequent attacks that were the same thing. It was called Magma Trap. Wait, does it have it? Oh, there it is. Magma Trap. It's right there. It's oh, you guys can't see it. There. It's the exact same mechanic. Like, literally the exact same mechanic. That's, like, one of the positives to, like, playing this game for a long time, is once you see these mechanics, you automatically know what they're going to be.
More damage from future magma traps. You want to pop those as needed.
Wait, is it the same icon, too?
Using immunities and slow falls in a pinch. And don't pop 2 in a row. On top of all that, this fight also has special combo attacks that happen at certain power thresholds. They seem to gain energy at a flat rate, so these basically happen on a timer. At 30 power, you get living bombs inside of smoke clouds. The bombs need to be killed before they explode, and the smoke clouds that they spawn in break line of sight. You'll need to get inside the cloud in order to hit the bomb, or to heal anyone that's in the cloud. To make it more fun, the bombs also have a rotating laser attack which you need to run in a circle to avoid. Get in, don't get zapped, kill the bomb, and then do the rest of them before they pop.
That's easy.
At 60 power, they do a big maze made out of rings of peace. If you've never met a ring of peace before, I can tell you that they'll kick you back if you try to step in one, and there is no walking over them, so don't try. Everyone gets ported to one side, and you have to make it to the other end of the room where there's a big wall of ice with weak spots that have health bars. Pick and damage down a weak point to break through the ice wall and kick the boss. While that's happening, the mage is raining down Phoenix Strikes to avoid. On Hurricane Higher, only one point of the wall is attackable at first. A fourth orb spawns in the maze that you can pick up and use on a different weak point to activate it if the first one sucks. Finally, at 100 power, both bosses transform. The mage becomes a phoenix while the monk becomes a serpent. The phoenix does pulsing ray damage for the rest of the fight and continues to assault the tank with rising flames. The monk dragon gets dragon breath, which is a frontal fire cone. On Hurricane Higher, the dragon breath leaves fire patches on the ground that'll eat up your floor space if you're too slow. Pop what you have left and finish the fight. And that's Jadefire Masters. You may have noticed that my footage of this encounter was a little limited, so I've made liberal use of illustrations to demonstrate. If you're still confused and want to see the graphics from the PTR, I recommend the Fat Boss video, which I'll link down below. Thanks for watching.
Wow, look at that, promoting other creators.
Check out my channel for more raid guides and other WoW stuff, and have a wonderful...
Yeah, let me see what the Fat Boss version of this is, okay? I'm actually curious to see like what the run is going to be.
Hello and welcome back to Fat Boss TV. Today we're continuing our coverage of the Battle of Dazara.
Here we go. Here's the run.
Say, okay, the traps don't matter because we brought 3
rogues.
They're
about to pop
That's
off
kind of scary
here.
going into a fight where you remove an entire kind of mechanic
so
just by bringing certain classes. So hopefully
just
they
run
can
over
balance
to the right,
it in such
guys.
a way that
Come on.
even if you do bring a shit ton of rogues, it doesn't give you too much of an advantage.
Wait, really?
Also, one thing I wanted to touch on was
this is
the
hard.
60 energy phase where the bosses teleport to one side of the room.
Well,
and
how
you
did
teleport to the other
DKs
side.
and shit get around that?
In concept, it's a really cool sort of phase, but it really wasn't a challenge while I was doing it on PTR.
So I think they programmed it to where, like, only on the left side they spawn. So you just walk around all of them, and then you just go kill the ice wall.
It wasn't a challenge while I was doing it on PTR.
That seems easy.
The maze really didn't seem complete, and for the most part, you could just avoid it by jumping over the terrain of the temple.
Yeah, well, even leaps and blinks and stuff just went through all the inner pieces.
Okay, dude.
So, I don't know.
We should also mention that the fire patches that were spawning, almost all of them
okay,
spawned
and then you
inside
break
Ring
that
of
down,
Pieces.
and
so
then you go
you're
into
not
the
going to
phase
get hit by
again.
them
Okay,
anyway,
that makes pretty much pretty good sense. So this fight, I mean, I think it's okay. I mean, yeah, it looks all right. This PTR, well, yeah, of course. See, like, I want to read something that you guys, I've said a lot, okay? This is from Mr. Dwarf in chat. Why can't they make simpler bosses with more punishing attacks that are harder to avoid rather than bosses you need to spend so much time to learn fights? It's not even about learning fights. What it's more about is the fact that, like, a lot of these, like, mechanics and everything are just, they're kind of, like, pointless in a way. Like, look at the damage that a lot of these mechanics do. I'll show you. It inflicts 2,000 damage. Players caught in a beam suffer 24,000 damage. Like, I feel like there are so many of these mechanics that you can just do them wrong, and it doesn't matter. And I liked the time back in the day, whenever there were only like 4 or 5 mechanics that a boss could do, at the most. But every single one of them would fucking kill you. And that way we don't have this bloat where it's this gigantic it's like basically having a soup full of pixels, and anytime you take a bite, you're dead. It's obnoxious. Like, just have a few fucking mechanics that players have to avoid, make sure they have to learn the mechanics to kill the boss, and it's more fulfilling than a person basically just getting healed through every fucking mechanic. What? That's boring? Well, I don't know. I think it's more boring to have 100 different mechanics and none of them kill you, so you just decide which ones you're going to fuck up on. And it's the same on Mythic, too. It's not like, oh, Mythic is going to be that much harder. Unless you're in a top 50 world guild, Mythic is going to be a fucking joke, too. You can mess up mechanics all the time, and it's fine. Boss fights are basically theme rides at this point. Well, it's not really about them being theme rides. It's about, like, the way that they treat mechanics. It's like players never really have to learn mechanics. Like, there can always just be, like, somebody else that does it or whatever. And the mechanics aren't really that overly punishing one at a time, right? And you have certain examples like Kill Jaden, which is an exception. But Kill Jaden was bad because it was like the mind reading of, like, who's going to go stand where. But besides that, it was fine. I'd just like to see more fights that are like that instead. Same argument for Trash Packs and Mythic Plus. They have too many mechanics, and most of them don't do shit. Well, you're right? I mean, you've got Mythic Plus. Like, I go into Mythic Plus, and the first fucking mob I fight is it's a dog, and it's got more mechanics than Ragnaros. Guys, just give it a break. Just let people kill the dog and get to the trash. You know what I mean? Like, you go and you do a pull in Freehold, and you've got to prepare for that longer than you've got to prepare for Grong here. Like, this is a 3-minute boss fight. I can guarantee you, there has never been a gorilla in the game that wasn't easy to kill. Every gorilla is a joke. You know why? Because it's a fucking gorilla. They're limited in what their options are. They can move their hands around. They can stomp. And that's it. So it's an easy boss. I guarantee you it's going to be an easy boss.